Hello everyone, and welcome to Week 2, Day 1 of the Strife Championship Series. I'm Azaraki Dragon. Casting with me today is The Source, and we're bringing you Game 1, which is Ascent Gaming versus Crimson Blade.
Yeah, and we should be getting into the drafter soon. There are a couple of drafter changes being made, but it shouldn't take too long.
Yep, they've already banned their first few heroes. We have Bastion and Nikolai are the only bans for this game. Both of them tanks, which is something we see fairly often. A lot of teams don't want to let the other team have two tanks, especially if one of them is Nikolai. We've seen him be very powerful in recent times, and even though he's also recently got a nerf, his utility still stays extremely strong. His 3-hit knock-up combo can still knock people up, doesn't do as much damage, but it's still really good for catching out targets, and his ultimate is also extremely good for that as well. So Nikolai, just according to his kit, is still a very strong pick.
Yeah, so with two tanks being removed, we still have two tanks, Bo and Claudessa, each picked up by either team. SG or AG picking up Bo also going with Rook Lady Tinder, so that's a pretty strong lane if they want to go with that. They could be sending Rook bottom and bringing in another AD carry, possibly Featherstone, because Vermilion has gone to the other side, so we won't be seeing that Vermilion Tinder lane. And actually, Featherstone and Malady being picked up by their side, instant pickups for Minerva and Carter, so the team seem to know what they want.
Yeah, they seem to, especially since they also picked up Minerva, which is something we haven't seen ever, really, I think, in tournament play so far. So that's something that really interests me. I don't think she was changed in the last patch. Do you? I think the only people changed were Nikolai and Gokong.
Yeah, no, she hasn't gotten any changes, so this has to be a strategic shift, something that they think is going to work.
This is Ascent Gaming, and they are known for doing new strats that a lot of people just haven't really heard about before. So Minerva's real strength comes from mobility and ability to assassinate, basically. Get in with double dashes, assassinate someone down with a lot of burst damage, and usually you're going to be able to get back out again on top of that. So pretty interesting pick. That might be sort of to counteract the comp that we already see from Crimson Blade, which is one tank in Claudessa, and then you have three fairly squishy heroes, two of which just don't have any mobility unless they get rocket boots or bounder.
Exactly. So last pickup possibility for Crimson Blade, they have a few options. They could go on a more bruisery end, maybe go with the Hail, although they do have Vermilion Featherstone. They have the Malady. It'll probably be... Actually, no, they do go with the Hail. So they wanted more initiation. They decided to go with probably a Malady... Actually, I'm not... A Malady Hail lane, maybe, and Featherstone bottom, or... Do you think they'll send Hail bottom to go against what is likely to be a Minerva?
It's a weird matchup. I actually don't know a lot of the Minerva matchups, especially, again, since she hasn't been really played in high-tier play for a very, very long time. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe Hail would match up a little bit better against that, but for the most part, I almost feel like the bot lane for Crimson Blade should just be a safe farmer, someone who can scale into the late game, and someone who can really just avoid the all-in potential of Minerva, because if Minerva does decide to initiate, that's going to be a lot of your health that's down, and she's also got some pretty good poke damage and harass on her kit as well, so that's something that sort of benefits her in the bot lane. On top of that, it'll, again, be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen there, and it's also a possibility that they don't even send Minerva bot. They send Rook bot and maybe go with Minerva Bow, Minerva Tinder. This pick sort of just changes everything up, and it's hard to tell what Ascent Gaming's plans really are.
Yeah, I want to say Minerva's going to be bottom lane. Likely to pick up a Hunter's Vest early. That is my prediction, that they're going to send it bottom, because Bo works very, very well with Carter. Rook can do a lot with Tinder. Minerva, although she has a full all-in potential, it may be safer to send her bottom lane, but the enemy team does have two AD carriers, so that possibly changes things. If I were to run any kind of lane, it would be Tinder Minerva, so that you can land a Bindweed into all of Minerva's follow-up damage, but I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, that could definitely be something. And part of the bow pick would probably just be to peel and keep Minerva safe. There isn't really too much synergy there other than a pretty decent amount of harass from that combo. So again, really weird comps. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But yeah, I think you're right with the Tinder and Tinder Minerva top, where Bo Carter is also an extremely strong lane. That's something that I think we can expect to see, that we've seen quite a few times in the past as well. So, they've got a lot of poke in that mid lane if they were to go for Bo Carter, and that's also a ton of roam potential, especially since Carter doesn't really need to be in the lane in order to gank either. He's got so much burst damage from long range. But if we look at Crimson Blade's comp, they're looking for quite a bit of roam as well. Malady, Hale, Claudessa. That's got a pretty decent amount of roam, but for the most part, I think their big strength is going to come from their late game, right? We have Featherstone, super late game powerhouse. Malady can usually full to zero someone if she picks the right target. In this case, it would probably end up being Carter or Tinder. I don't think she's going to be able to burst the Rook because the hide and seek, if you can see Malady's kit coming, is just so strong and it will completely shut down her burst. So that's something that if you see Malady rocket booting towards you, then you can instantly pop the hide and seek and then dodge the whirlwind off of that. So I don't think Rook's necessarily as viable or as good a pick for Malady to get, but she can still burst down Carter really, really easily, and that's something that's also going to be a pretty good late game powerhouse. So again, I think Crimson Blade has got a pretty good late game comp.
Yeah, it's definitely stronger for the late game because of that Featherstone. I think it'll also depend on how well Hale is implemented. We have seen a resurgence of Hale in the last few weeks. It's opened up a lot of possibility for teams, but I think it needs to be noted that Hale does need solid gold to ramp up. We've seen a lot of Mystic Dagger Hales, so not a tanky Hale, but a very, very aggressive, I'm going to burst you pretty much down to nothing Hale. And I don't know if that's going to work against Minerva, who does a ton of damage while building tanky, if they wind up against each other in lane. Again, we still aren't really sure what some of these lane matchups are likely to be.
Yeah, definitely. So going into this, we know that Ascent Gaming has been doing extremely well in the Pro Series, in the SPL, in the test tournaments, or not the test tournaments, but the qualifiers that we ran. So they're definitely looking pretty good right now. They did drop a game yesterday to Papa Please, which may be a little bit unexpected considering how powerful they were last season in SPL. But Crimson Blade also pretty new arrivals to the scene, so it's going to be interesting to see how they fare up against Ascent Gaming, who are pretty much known to be very experienced players, a very experienced team, and see if they can take a game off of them.
Yeah, they're probably one of the most veteran rosters in the game right now, so it'll be a tough climb for them. We'll see whether or not they can make it happen.
Yeah, we're waiting for the last few ticks of the loading screen right here, and one thing I do also want to mention is just, again, we have sort of the roam comp, pick comp, a lot of those things with Crimson Blade, but we really don't quite know where Minerva's going to fit. I think Minerva's a pretty good roamer. I think she's got some good power there, and it looks like they're going to be sending her mid lane, so they do expect to go for the roaming potential of Minerva in order to help snowball the mid game. That's pretty interesting. So it's going to be Carter top, fairly safe lane, so they just want Carter to get to the late game rather than rely on Carter's roam potential.
Yeah, it's a slightly more aggressive build since Carter is going to be going with the Lady Tinder. So they're looking to let Carter just sort of chill, and they really, really need to make good use of Minerva. Minerva needs to pick up a lot of early kills.
Yeah, if Minerva doesn't get an early gold per minute advantage, or just at the very least stay in line, she can fall behind really easily and become a non-factor coming into the latter half of the game if she's just not on par with the rest of the heroes in terms of GPM. So that's something that we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on to see if OJC can get a good amount of roam down and just be all around the map to get a bunch of kills and gold per minute advantage.
Alright, so see some of these starting items. Pretty standard so far. Actually, looks like Zeevil has. So this is a serious change up to a lot of their composition. They have Zeevil on the bow. Zeevil's normally their AD carry, which means their AD carry is currently being played down in bottom lane by Tompus, which is fine. But they've sent SMD to play the Carter. So that is a little bit of a change up. Also, OJC normally playing one of their tanks is going to be playing the Minerva, so letting him have sort of an open free reign on this lane.
Yeah. So in the top lane for Crimson Blade, we see Vermilion and Claudessa, which is a much more standard lane composition than anything with a Minerva in it, basically. But the one of the big things here is that even though Vermilion can trade really well with his extra range, we do have Bone who's playing Tinder who can heal SMD if anything were to happen. Gifted's taken down extremely low, and one last auto attack's not going to do it. He's going to use the Bounder to get underneath the tower, but it's going to cost him his life as well. Ruckus just barely gets away with some of his health on top of that, so very, very early first blood.
Yeah, pretty much an instant trade back. That was, I think, a little over aggressive by SMD. He probably could have walked away from that. He wouldn't have gotten the kill, but I think that might have been a little ambitious, and he's not going to get that much in return for it. If we take a look at GPMs, yes, there's a slight advantage for Lady Tinder, but that's not really where their advantage is, and that's actually keeping them very even, although Ascent Gaming is doing a good job of controlling their other lanes.
Yeah, and we see SMD is back in the top lane. He's going to start poking out a little bit more as well. But gold per minute all across the board is pretty heavily in Ascent Gaming's favor from that one kill and just overall laning. We see in the bot lane 400 gold per minute to 237 or so. That's just coming from the amount of pushing that Tompus is doing, and we see Warwitz is forced to last hit under tower, which is never really a good sign.
Yeah, he's, that is part of the matchup. Rook does have a lot of advantage there to bully a Featherstone very, very early, but we'll see whether or not he's able to make some of those changes as the matchup goes on. And I'm curious to see what Tompus is building. Actually, he goes aggressive on the Warwiz, does a good bit of damage to him, can't finish the job. That looks like the setup for a Vamp Dagger in bottom lane, which is pretty uncommon these days.
It might be, but the bot lane matchup here, Tompus is doing a really good job of pressuring down Warwitz before Warwitz can get Golden Protector. That's really going to be the item that allows Warwitz to stay in the game in terms of his farm and not just keep getting harassed down every time he goes to step up for a last hit. So we're going to have to see how far ahead Tompus can get before that item pickup is there, because if he can get far enough ahead, then the item won't really make too much of a difference and he's still going to be able to bully out Warwitz in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to depend. He also does have 6. No, yeah, he's got 5. Level 6. He has his ultimate, so that could be the call for the engagement. We may see him go for the 1v1 there. As of right now, Ascent Gaming doing a good job of keeping Crimson Blade down and suppressed. They've been able to keep gold advantage and keep them pushed under tower. They've done a really good job of doing that despite not having the greatest of early pushing teams.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of utilizing their early pushing teams as well. As you can see, they've really just placed everyone on CB underneath 350 GPM, and that's only getting one kill, and they managed to get a return kill off of that one kill as well. So if we take a look at the gold graphs and just see, it's pretty much a linear line except for whatever this is. I'm not sure what happened there, but up to 3,200 gold in the lead 4 minutes into the game is quite substantial, actually.
Alright, so aggressive and up in top lane. SMD actually getting caught out under tower. Nice bind down into Ruckus. He takes a good bit of damage there, but they don't really have the spells to follow up just yet. They do have their ultimates. Imminent Boom is up on SMD, so that could set up a play. I think, actually no, we saw the ultimate down in bottom lane. Deliverance was used, turnaround by Tompus. Doesn't manage to do enough damage, so I hope they'll just go back to farming.
Just go back to farming, and to be honest, Tompus really wins that farm war, as again we're seeing down here, but Warwitz is slowly getting back up into it. Before he was the lowest GPM on his team, and now he's the highest, so he's doing a pretty good job of getting some of that gold lead back in his advantage, and it looks like Tompus knows about the Pookie Bear roam, and he's not going to get caught out by a Rocket Boot Malady, which is a pretty big power spike for Malady, because that's just the thing that's going to allow you to make plays happen. You can't really get close enough to someone to use a Whirlwind unless you use Rocket Boots, or they're just caught out of position, so early pickup there. He wanted to roam to basically make something of that power spike, but he just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, he was gone for a pretty long time. It took him a while to get back to. When they saw him back, it took him a while to be seen again, and they just figured he was probably roaming down. So safe play there by Tompus not to get himself caught out.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, up in top lane, ultimates have been used. The Chi shot came out from Gifted. Ruckus, he's going to get hooked back in. He does have the ultimate burning, but he's taking a lot of damage. One more rocket from SMD would probably finish the job, but he can't land it. Doesn't have the ability lined up. And now it looks like OJC is going to be the one to roam in. Warwiz is actually very, very low. He's going to need to be careful. OJC comes in, and they don't have the minions, so a potion pop by Warwiz, he'll be able to keep himself alive for a little while. It's going to be difficult for him to defend this tower, and meanwhile up in the top tower, Nature's Fury has gone down. Ascent Gaming should be able to take this tower without too much contesting, and they may even get the bottom one as well. OJC does go forward, lays down the slow. Should have another dash up. He's already got his Mystic Dagger. Deliverance with Lance, so the damage is still down, and that's going to be the kill pickup for OJC. Roam in from Crimson Blade, but they're not going to get there soon enough. This tower may still go down, but I think Malady is going to show up just in time. They may decide to burn through it. Yep, no, they're going to stay and try and bring down this tower. Now it's going to be a fight. Pookie Bear is there. He's going to chase onto the right target. No, actually, he chased onto the wrong one. Takes a ton of damage. Is forced out of the fight. Ultimate comes out of Zingod. He's able to delay them, but not enough to do the damage. And that was actually a perfect Razor bait by Tompus.
And that's one of the reasons why we see a lot of people playing Rook to run Razor nowadays, is just to allow for those outplays, and especially in team fights. Rook is really one of the big focus targets in a late game team fight, and if he can really pull off a good Razor bait, then he can completely mitigate any burst that happens to him and just stay at full health and then burst down whoever he wants afterwards. So really good play right there by him.
It looks like Rome did come in by the top lane, but they weren't really in a position to make anything happen from that. They'll head back up the top. So now Ascent Gaming 2 towers up, clearly up in kills, about a 200 GPM lead over every position. So good job for them, and they're in clear advantage of the game. Meanwhile, in this jungle, actually, OGC is going to find Warwiz, starts doing a lot of damage to him. Has he popped the ultimate yet? Is waiting. Needs one more auto attack to finish the job. Dashes on top of him, picks up the kill. Now onto Pookie Bear. Pookie Bear does lay down the wall and slows down OJC from getting out of there. Zingod is coming in, but Tompus is around the side of this wall. They think they want to re-engage the fight, but Ascent Gaming will back up, and they'll pick up another free kill while taking Baldir with just Bone and SMD. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, actually looks like Zeevil's going to get himself caught out. Surrounded by 3, dashes forward. Nice use of those rocket boots. Actually dodges the Dragon's Rage. Uses his ultimate to get away. Nice bindweed comes in, gets Zingod. Ruckus in a little bit of trouble. Is a bit caught out, but should be fine. Now there are 2 in bottom lane. Ascent Gaming doing a good job of using 3 to just defend. And now they're diving onto Warwiz. Deliverance goes out. It actually does miss, so they may be able to pick up the kill onto OJC. No, he'll survive by a potion, and that shield gets out of there by the skin of his teeth, and it's Tompus who picks up the kill onto Warwiz.
Sorry about that, my mic just stopped working for whatever reason. I had to unplug it and plug it back in, but I am here now, so that's good. And meanwhile, in the top lane, they're going to be using the Nature's Fury in order to try to rush down this tower. Ruckus is here, however. He's going to pop his ultimate for some wave clear.
Yeah, that'll help them out a little bit. A lot of damage down in the Gifted. SMD doing some good job with his burst, and now it looks like Pookie Bear is going to come in from the side. Is he going to be able to get onto Bone? Uses the rocket boots forward. They do get the knock-up. They're not going to use the Dragon's Reach, and actually Bone is going to be able to use a dash to try and get away, but full damage comes in. Ultimate from Pookie Bear. He picks up that kill. Chase on the SMD. It's stopped. They don't feel they can continue to chase that one, and are going to start to defend. So Crimson Blade showing they're not out of the fight yet, but they're definitely at a disadvantage. Actually, the Wind Rush is used. Dash forward by SMD. They're going to get off the Inner's Rage from Zevo. In comes OJC, OJC was the one who tried to get in there and pick up that kill, but now they're going to be caught out. They're in the middle of 3. Pookie Bear is going to try and get onto OJC. They will get the knock-up. Zingod goes forward, gets off the auto attack, actually dashes forward, uses the ultimate. Nice hide and seek by Tompus. He'll pick up the revenge kill onto Zingod. Zeevil is still in the middle of the fight, uses the ultimate to push Ruckus away, but will fall. So that winds up being a 2 for 2, or a 3 for 2. Nope, 2 for 2 in favor of Ascent Gaming. They actually came out ahead of that a little bit because they then picked up the tower. Ultimate from SMD onto Pookie Bear. He'll walk away from that fine, and that's another tower going down. So despite the kill turns by Crimson Blade, they're behind in map objectives.
Yeah, they really are, and At this point, Crimson Blade is doing a fairly good job of trying to take any sort of advantage they can get. However, it's just not going to be enough. They got really, really far behind early game, and that was about a 10k gold difference that they are behind at this point. So it's really hard for them to do anything. There goes Deliverance.
Deliverance on to Pookie Bear. He's going to continue to be chased by OJC. OJC finishes him off with the ultimate. Now on to Gifted. Gets stunned out by that inner rage. Both throwers there. It's going to be the kill pickup for Zeevil. Meanwhile, Tompus finished off War with huge kill turns for Ascent Gaming, a 3-for-0. Baldir should be coming up soon. They'll be able to walk over and get that. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, SMD holding his own against Zingod, keeping the pressure on. Now there are 4 members rotating up. Tompus is still down in the bottom lane. Doesn't really matter. A ton of damage on the Zingod. He got full comboed, and he's going to dodge the bow throw, but won't be able to dodge away from much more. OGC comes in, picks up that kill. Now the pressure should be onto this top tower, and they've still just left Tompus down here doing damage. They don't need his help to make a lot of these plays, and they're going to pick up another map objective.
Yep, Warwitz is here to stop that. Meanwhile, in the top lane, another engagement.
Ooh, a nice Dragon's Rage back with Gifted landing a phenomenal ultimate, but Ruckus is taking too much damage. He's trying to get onto someone, but there's some phenomenal shields and heals from Bone. The Nature's Fury was used, and Ascent Gaming is going to walk away from this pretty much for free. Teleport boots coming from Zingod. I'm not sure what he was looking to find there. Just trying to get himself into that side of the map, but that may have been a waste of a cooldown as he's about to walk into OJC. He's going to take a bunch of damage. The Bindweed goes forward, hooks him back in. OJC should be able to pick up that kill. There's actually a knock up on the Bone, but it didn't really matter. Pookie Bear was not in position to follow up on that play. That'll be the Baldir going over to Ascent Gaming. Gold advantage gonna continue.
And their gold advantage, again, if you look at the GPM, you see the bars in a great disparity. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, it looks like, ooh, Ruckus is going to be able to kill Tompus there. Warwick's taken down really low, almost getting killed himself, but Baldir is also going to be taken out. So, again, back to the gold graphs, sitting at about 13,000 at this point. It's really, really hard lead for Crimson Blade to come back into, and at this point, they sort of just need to bank on Ascent Gaming making a mistake. 13k gold ahead, 12 minutes into the game is huge, and Ruckus is going to try to catch out Zeevil, but they don't have enough damage. Or will they? Gifted goes in for it. He's going to be able to land a couple more auto attacks, but that's not enough. Inner Fury is going to allow Zeevil to get out of here, and now SMD wants blood.
He's waiting around the corner. He's going to use that imminent boom. Dash forward by OJC. They will be able to get on top of Ruckus, but OJC now caught out a little bit. The wall goes down, but actually there was a horrific wall. Pookie locked himself out instead of locking OJC in, and he's going to fall for that. Zeevil picks up that kill that was so close.
It was very close, but one thing is that, oh no, Warwitz is going to face check the brush. That's not what you want to do in this scenario, and that's going to give Ascent enough pressure to push down this tower as soon as the minion wave gets there.
Yep, that's another kill going over to them. This tower should fall soon. Nature's Fury is up in 7 seconds. They're likely to save that unless they get pushed off here. Minion wave should be coming in here. Zingod uses a nice ultimate, but there's nobody there to follow up. He is going to fall. Phenomenal ultimate by Zeevil to pull back in a number of targets. They will get the extra kill onto Gifted. Nature's Fury should be going down soon. I don't know why Bone hasn't used it. Probably it's just out of mana. And Zeevil takes a little bit of damage. They may just want to save it for the next team fight. No need to burn the spell unless they're going to be forced off, however. Crimson Blade showing up, getting enough members there to force them away. The health bars weren't there. And that'll be Ascent Gaming backing up for the moment.
Yeah, and Bone was definitely out of mana right there to put down the Nature's Fury, so they weren't able to take that tower down quite yet, but it is pretty low, so during their next siege they should be able to have it. Meanwhile, Zingod in the bottom lane is going to be trying to take this tower, but Tompus almost just ends up dueling him down. Pookie Bear's down in the bot lane. He's going to try to make something happen, but I don't know if he's going to be able to burst down Tompus before he can reinitiate.
Yeah, maybe over-aggressive. Pookie Bear is going to back up and try and rejoin with his team. They know Minerva is top. OJC is not with the rest of the team. So that may allow them to make some of the plays they need right now. Still under a lot of pressure, so it's going to be rough.
And it looks like we're going to see Pookie Bear waiting in the wings for the mid lane. SMD just barely manages to dodge a Dragon's Reach, and that was surely going to be his death if it landed, but it looks like everyone's just going to disengage for now. But Ascent Gaming know that they can put on the pressure, they can try to 3v5, just push the mid lane out, and just try to not get initiated. Meanwhile, they have Tompus pushing the bottom lane, and they actually sent SMD up there in the top lane to help OJC push as well, so...
Ooh, huge deliverance! He didn't get a chance! That's going to be the kill going over to Tompus. He finished off Pookie Bear before he could do anything.
And here we go. Tompus is taken pretty low. Warwitz is going to keep up the chase. Nice Razor, but Warwitz just face checks the bush again. He's going to go down. And this is probably going to end up being a free tower as another minion wave's almost here. And meanwhile, they're going to take mid lane. Bone with a great Nature's Fury.
Ooh, nice bindweed.
And he's going to be able to get out there, but Zingod is taken down extremely low. One more auto attack from SMD is going to be able to take that out. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're pushing on the generator. Action happening in every single lane.
Yep, Gifted is going to get hit with that ultimate coming out of Zevo. He picks up the kill off of a nice inner rage. He's still going to fall, though. Tanks it out a little bit too long, but a tower's going to go down in bot. A tower's going to go down in top. That's huge advantage going over to Ascent Gaming, and they're going to be able to continue the push as there just aren't enough members to stop them on the side of Crimson Blade. There's going to be 2 pushing in bottom. Minerva's going to do a little bit of damage top, but the rotation is actually for SMD to start clearing out the middle lane wave. And he's going to get met by Warwiz. Warwiz needs to be careful. OJC does have his full combo up. That's a lot of damage he can deal. So it's going to be dangerous for them. Action walks up onto the high brush. Tompus picks up another kill. His damage is insane, bursting through pretty much everybody before they can do a thing.
Before they can do a thing is really the name of the game when you're fighting up against Tompus up here. And Gifted gets binded! Very, very nice skill shot.
Play. These players are crazy right now, just landing things over the wall. Bone has been on point with all of these. Now Warwiz pops his ultimate, tries to get onto somebody, but gets blown up instantly by OGC. Bind me back onto Ruckus. Can they bring him down? Tompus is there, but decides to leave it to OJC. Picks up the kill. Nice ultimate. Now Zingod trying to force him off, but they still have enough members to make something happen. Nice double knockup. Almost finishes off SMD. Can Zingod get close enough? I don't think so, as the ultimate, that imminent boom is coming in. He gets destroyed trying to finish off somebody. All the members of Ascent Gaming are low. If they just had somebody up. Actually, Zeevil is going deep. Picks up the kill on the Pookie Bear. Gifted is there trying to finish him off. He's going to put down the totem. Maybe the minions or someone is going to get in range to help him, but no, Gifted will finally get a bit of revenge. But, I don't know if it was enough, because all of Ascent Gaming is so far ahead. 500, 600 gold advantage for every single one of them.
Well, I just checked Zeevil's items on Bow. If you look at what they're built out of, we have a Wind Rush out of 3 Power Shards and an Everwinter Charm out of 2 Power Shards and a Power Stone. And on top of that, he's got another Power Crystal, so he's really going full ham when it comes to his bow play, and that's why he can burst everyone down so quickly. So, lacking in the tankiness department, but at the same time, Ascent Gaming is so far ahead. If we once again look at the gold graphs, 200 or 20,000, 200 would be really ridiculous, but 20,000 gold ahead. And at this point, they can really do it. They have enough of an advantage to the point where they don't need a straight tank. If, however, Crimson Blade can hold off until the very, very late game where they start catching up in items, it's going to start to be a problem, but I think Ascent is just going to try to end the game before then.
I mean, we're looking at about a 20,000 gold lead at 17 minutes. That's pretty significant. I don't know how they're going to make anything. Oh my god, Zeevil just went in and soloed Pookie Bear. Full combo just destroyed him.
Yep, there's that full power. Even though he's got some pretty good utility with Wind Rush and Everwinter Charm, again, they're built out of full power if you can see all of this, so that's something that's really helping him burst people down, and a lot of people, I guess, just aren't expecting Bo to do that much damage. I know if I would play a game against him and I didn't see his items, I would just think he would be another tank, but at this point the bow throw is doing 300 plus damage each time it hits something, so at this point there's not really too much that Crimson Blade to do to get back into this. Again, they're just banking on a mistake by Ascent Gaming, and even though Ascent Gaming is having a few times where they overextend a little bit, it's not nearly enough to get them to throw the game, basically.
I mean, the rubber band is very strong in Strife. If, say, an aggressive play was made by Ascent Gaming, they died 5 underneath a generator, maybe. But they've got Krytos. They've done a really good job of controlling the game. They haven't lost a single tower or objective. They've had complete control the entire time.
Complete control. Again, OJC is just trying to bait out this high ground again. With Minerva, let's actually check out the item build. Everwinter Charm, pretty good to make sure people don't escape. He's got the Mystic Dagger for extra slows, as well as the armor and magic resist reduction, helping him burst people down even more.
Oh my god.
almost want to go in for it, but the generator's there. They're not quite that YOLO yet, and Krytos is starting to push the bottom lane, so they don't really need to. They can just start clearing these waves and just wait it out until Krytos actually gets here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to continue to roam between the two lanes and keep control. Out comes a nice deliverance on the Ruckus. I'm not sure why. It might have just been to slow down the transition to stop Bo from pushing the wave. So yeah, they do have Krytos coming up. They're going to continue to roam between the lanes and just keep everything pushed. It's sort of a 1-1-3 push strat going on right now.
Yep. Push strats. Ooh, SMD doing a pretty good damage to Ruckus in the mid lane, and here comes Krytos. He'll be here in about 3 seconds or so, and
I don't even think they need him.
Yeah, they don't need him. They're going to just force down the generator. Warwick's getting taken down super low.
OJC goes in. He's going to be able to pick up a kill onto Gifted. And now Warwiz goes in. Ruckus, he'll fall as well. Krytos is there actually chasing. He's going to hit the Crux. And then they should be able to end the game here. Bindweed onto Pookie Bear. He's going to get run down. Zingod gets finished off as well. Double kill for Tompus. That's GG.
Oh, definitely GG, and a very decisive game for Ascent Gaming. They're looking extremely powerful, and look at the GPMs. They're, for the most part, I think you can match up one person from each team, and the Ascent Gaming person will have twice as much GPM as the Crimson Blade counterpart if you manipulate it so to say Bo versus Malady and stuff like that. But again, really, really good game by them, and honestly, I don't know if Crimson Blade can really come back in game 2. Ascent Gaming was just looking too strong.